Okay, so it's important to fully understand the absolute path and the relative path within Windows, because once you understand where you are in a computer, then you can effectively resolve issues and you can get around effectively. Okay, so we need to make sure we have a clear understanding between the relative path and the absolute path. So if I open up Explorer here, okay, I go to this PC and the C drive here. I'm in the root now. I'm in the C drive. So if I open up the command prompt, I'm in the C drive and the command prompt as well. Now, if I do a DIR, you're going to see the same folders: apps, Dell, drivers, Intel, apps, Dell, drivers, Intel, and so forth. They should all look the same. 0 files, 9 directories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 directories. So there's proof that's the same. What we want to be able to do is understand that anytime we traverse or move around in the operating system, that we could do two ways, using the absolute path or the relative path. So since I did a DIR or DIR here, I could see what the next folder is. So the next folder that's available to me is in the list here, the output of the DIR command. So I could do CD or change directories, and I could go to users. Okay, and press enter, and there I am. I'm in users, so I'm here now. Okay, and I could do CD or change directories, or actually before I do that, I'm going to do a DIR. Now this is the difference. Look at this. In C:users, I don't see what's in it. I'm just in the path. It in the command prompt, it just shows you the path. It doesn't show you what's in it unless you ask it to. So in C:users in the GUI, you can see there's two folders, public and student. But if I didn't know, if I didn't have this window open, I'd have to do a DIR. Okay, a DIR command, and there it is, public and student. So I do CD, student, and there I am. Okay. So this is the relative path, because every time I change directories, I'm doing it based on the relative path, because I'm not doing what? I'm not typing in the entire address from the C drive, and we know that that is the definition of an absolute path. So an absolute path looks, this is the rule behind it. The absolute path, let me make this a little bit smaller. Maybe here. Okay. The absolute path in Windows starts with a drive letter, and I could go to C users, student. I could go desktop. Okay. That's an absolute path because it started with a drive letter. A relative path is your current working directory. So if I was in student, that's my current working directory. And if I want to go to another path, it is a relative path because it starts from my current working directory, not the C drive. Okay, hopefully that's clear. The relative path is the current working directory. So if I combine the current working directory with another folder within that path, that is the relative path. Okay, so that's important to recognize that and understand that. So if I minimize this and I go now to change directories, I go to desktop, I'm there now. Okay, now a quick way to do this, a quicker way to do this, instead of going folder by folder, I could actually I could type the whole path in, right? I could type the relative, the absolute path. I'm going to give you a couple examples. So the first thing is I'm going to change directories. Okay, change directories is a very important command for you to learn. One of the first ones for change directory. If I just type it in, nothing happens. If I do change directory and do /, it'll send me back to the root. Okay, so the first switch you want to learn from change directory is that /. It takes you right back to the root. So you could start from the absolute path. So from here, I could do change directory. I could go C:// users /student /desktop. So I could do all that with one command because I show the entire absolute path. Okay. Now, what if I want to go down one level. What if I want to go from the desktop to student? I type in CD or change directory and then ... and then it takes me to student. Okay, because why? Because the first dot indicates the current working directory, right? You see that dot is used there as well, and the ... is the parent directory. So the parent directory of desktop is student, and the parent directory of student is users. So if I go CD ... again, I go to users. Okay, if I go CD ... again, I go to the C drive. Okay, so that's one way to get around. Now again, if I even as a relative path, I could go CD. Since I'm in users, I could type in the relative path. I don't have to start from the C drive. I could do users/student. Okay, so there it is. So I could go CD desktop, right, and I go there. So I could jump as many directories as are available, or I could do one at a time. If I want to go back, I could do also CD ... and what that does is that allowed me to skip 2 directories back. So I didn't just go to 1. Okay, so the variations that you should know for a CD or change directory are the following. So let me clean this up a little bit. So CD means change directory, and the first variation of CD with a slash, that takes you to root. To the root drive. If I do CD ... I can do CD ... or I can do CD space ... It's the same thing. It means change directories to the parent directory. Okay, and then CD ... slash ... it means like take it back to parent directories. Okay, go back to parent directories. Okay, and then if I want to go forward, I could go .cd. I could go the absolute path, CD / users / student / desktop. Okay, so that's the absolute path. I could just do it that way, or I could do CD and give it the relative path. So wherever I am, I could just go to the next path, the next folder. So if I'm in C and I do a dir, I'll see users. I could just go users / student. I don't need to use the absolute path anywhere in the computer as long as I know my current working directory and I know what's inside my current working directory. I could always change directories that way.